Hey everyone, good morning. It's Lynette Lewis, and I am so glad to be with you for one of our Love Your Life lives. As you know, if you've been following any of my updates, I'm going to try to do this about 5 days a week. We'll see how it goes. But welcome to all my friends, Kelly, Kathi, Gloria. Oh, good. Good to see you guys this morning. I'm so glad you're joining me. How was your weekend? Our weekend was busy. I am getting used to no extra childcare on the weekends, which I've kind of been used to for a while. But anyway, I know we're all kind of in that same boat, those of us with little kids. So we have one of our friends from nearby that came over to help be outside with the girls right now. So I get to talk to you guys. But it is just a very unusual time. And this is just simply my attempt to bring something of value, give you a little bit of encouragement. I'm rounding up a bunch of my best friends and role models and inspirations to bring to you what I hope will be a little highlight of your day. We're going to talk a lot about different ideas and creativity and tools and inspiration, hopefully, that will help you as well. So, Ethel, how are you? Ethel, Tony, all my good buddies are here. So thank you guys. Lauren, thank you guys for joining. So I am going to invite now one of my dearest friends in the whole world, Kathi Graves. And she and I are both new at this, but here you go, Kathi. And Kathi is going to share with us. Hey.
Good morning, my pal.
What are you doing?
Sitting here waiting for you. Looks like all eyes are on you, just the way you like it. Look, my girls are here watching you.
Well, look at all the eyes behind you that are on you. All those.
They're on me watching you.
So, Kathi, for those of you who have not met Kathi before, if you've been around me for a while, you've heard me talk about Kathi for many years. But Kathi is one of my very best friends. We've been doing life together for. How old are you now, Kathi?
Since I was 12 and you were 24, so about exactly. 35 years. Really, about 35 years.
We actually, Kathi and I you might enjoy it. We did a video about 7 or 8 months ago that got a lot of views on how to keep a friendship for over 35 years. And it's on my Instagram account if you guys want to go back and watch that. But we've been friends for a long time. And I wanted her to talk to us today about something that she's done that has really inspired me. First of all, I have to share Kathi's age, and I know you won't care, because you break the mold, my friend. Kathi is 61 years old. She's always been like my mother. She's so much... But honestly...
Always been like your mother.
Because you're so much older than me. But honestly, we had a big bash birthday party for Kathi about 1.5 years ago, and she really just shows how much beauty can even increase over the years. I mean, look at your skin right now, even your skin, your hair, everything.
Thanks to you, I spent a little time in hair and makeup for the first time in how long? And let me just say, my bra is getting some use this morning.
Let's be honest. You know that one of my question marks about doing these everyday lives was, am I really up for putting makeup on 5 days a week?
Seriously, yeah, more power to you. Don't ask me to join again for a while.
But, well, let's dive into a couple of fun things about what you've been doing. So you are sitting in Kathi has one of the great houses in America, not because it's huge or lavish, but because she has such great style. She has taught me many things over the years about mid-century modern design and other, we both share a lot of similar loves for vintage and all kinds of things. We shop together a lot when we're together for furniture. We trade ideas a lot, but your house itself is one of my favorite places. And you are sitting right now in a room in your house that you turned into your art studio, which could you show us around a little bit, because we're seeing all this beautiful art behind you, but I really want everybody to be able to see this particular room that you're in.
Sure. Well, it won't take long because it's not big, but it is actually one of our bedrooms. We downsized a number of years ago. Can I tell that quick?
Yeah,
very
tell
quick
that.
story?
That's great.
Yeah, we sold the home we had owned for many years, and my mother actually lived with us for 13 years. She had Alzheimer's, and that's another story in and of itself. But we what's the short version? We downsized and intended it to be a short-term situation, and here we are 7 years later. We don't want to go anywhere else. We're as happy as we can be, and we love our home. It's simple, but we really love it. So my husband, here, let's say hi to Kurt real quick. Want to?
Oh, great. Yeah.
Hey, Kurto. Oh, wait, I've turned around. Here he is. Hi,
Hey,
there's your
Kurt.
friend.
Hello.
So Kurt works from home when he's here. So he has a bedroom. That's his office. And then I have my studio. I guess I should turn this around for that, right?
Yeah, just turn it around and walk
Okay.
us around a little bit.
Okay. So again, it's a simple space, but I love it. I have it organized. I have all my supplies. I can display a little bit of my artwork. Here's some current works that are
Love it.
available for sale. Yep, some larger pieces here, and there's another one over there. This is my new series that happened kind of by accident. I figured I needed some joy and some bright colors, some happy colors. So these are my newest works
I
or
love
works
that
in
color
progress.
combo.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm
So
kind of liking
beautiful.
it too. Yeah, so that's my space. Do you want me to talk about my
Yeah,
cards right now? Or do you want me?
tell about your Mother's Day series, and I want to show too this little guy, this giraffe. Kathi sent out. If you're on, you can join her mail list, and she sends out some great stuff. But she sent this little artistic drawing, and then the girls were able to print this off and color it the way they wanted to, which I thought was a fabulous idea. But talk a little bit about, I think you're doing something for Mother's Day. Is that correct?
Yes. And to the giraffe, here's the original piece I did. Can't really see it here. A month or so ago that I will eventually make as a print to sell on my Etsy shop. But I thought, what can I'll turn it back around here just for a minute, and then I'll show the Mother's Day cards. But, you know, we were talking about coping with this new situation, and I'm a big believer in blooming where you're planted. You know, I feel like I do small things in small ways. And last week I thought, how in the world can I help these mothers? I'm not a mother, and I was feeling so much compassion for my friends who are just trying to keep their kiddos busy and themselves somewhat sane. So I decided to take that giraffe and do a simpler version in black and white to make it a coloring page. And then now you have not mentioned what I consider to be the most important part of it, and I do hope your girls were able to join in on the video.
Oh, I keep forgetting that part. I got to take them back and show them that.
I have a funny app I use to make my cats talk and sing, and I think it's brilliant, and I'm not sure why it isn't breaking the internet yet, but I did an accompanying video with one of my cats on, I named this giraffe, Stick Your Neck Out. And so Richie did a little teaching moment to the children on what it means to stick your neck out for somebody and why it's important to do that. So anyone who is signed up for my newsletter, which you can do at kathygraves.com, got this downloadable coloring page, and I'm hearing back now from friends like you, and I'm going to post the pictures, darling pictures, to see how each child has used their own creativity to color it differently. And so, I mean, it's no big deal, but I just thought that is something I can do right here, right now. And I think that's where, you know, it's not going to save lives, sadly, but I think we all need to do our little part, and that's what I did. So
I love that. And let me say one thing about that, because
yeah.
you guys that are watching, you know that one of my big pushes right now and my passions is that crisis can really be a catalyst for innovation.
Absolutely.
And just what you're doing, Kathi. I mean, I think we all tend to sort of self-doubt ourselves a little bit. I noticed I have a big hunk of smoothie on my forehead.
I didn't mention it. I didn't see it.
But I think we all self-doubt. We think, well, what do I have
Yes.
to offer? It's so small. We're not on the front lines, like you said.
Right.
Doing medicine or trying to help people actually get over this virus. But
Right.
what can we do? And what you do always, and you and I talk about this a lot, is just thinking creatively, thinking outside the box and saying, okay, I'm going to put this out there. One of my friends, Kelly, who's on this morning, talks about scattering seed, where we just take what we've got, we just throw it out there. You don't know how many seeds are going to grow, how many seeds are not, but get it out there. And that's what you're doing with this, which I love.
Well, we're all in it together, and I still want to get back to my Mother's Day cards, but that made me think of something else. And this is not to say, oh, I did a great thing, because it was a small thing, but it was a surprising thing to me. But I'm really, I don't know, I'm thinking a lot about my friends who are in healthcare and public service of any sort, right? The grocery store clerks, janitors. My husband has a client who owns a large corporate cleaning company. They clean millions of square feet in Charlotte of commercial space every night. And their workers are putting themselves in harm's way, right, to keep other people safe. And so I have a friend, I've been checking on my own friends who are nurses or occupational therapists or doctors or whatever. And I have a friend who is single and sometimes struggles with isolation anyway. And so now she's further isolated because on her off time, she doesn't want to expose anyone else. So we were FaceTiming yesterday, and she's scared. And she's scared about her own health. And she has made herself a little COVID-19 kit, which we'll talk a little bit later maybe about the Enneagram, but we're both the same Enneagram 6 type, and we're motivated by fear. And so I'm like, that's a brilliant idea, because she said, if I get sick, at least I'll have the items that I know I need. I want to have them all in one place, because I'm going to be sick and I'm going to be alone. But what she's discovered is she doesn't have any Tylenol. And Tylenol is critical, and she can't find it. There's no Tylenol in the world. She's gone on Amazon. She's gone everywhere.
Wow.
So I was like, friend, we'll get you the Tylenol. I will find the Tylenol. Don't you worry, And so that was an answer. I could say, I'm praying for you. I could throw scripture at her, which, all those things she knows and all those things we do. But I hung up and I said, I'm going to go see if I have Tylenol. Well, I have 26. And I thought, well, I'm not sick. I could spare some. But I thought, what else could I do? So I texted 6 neighbors and said, please, if anybody has any they could spare, 4 or 5, I don't care. Hi. Is that Isabella?
Hey, Isabella, come say hi.
I see bangs.
Come say hi real quick, honey.
Isabella.
This is Isabella.
Hey, girlfriend.
Look, see Kathi?
I like your bangs.
Hi.
They're
like
outside
bangs,
playing
girl.
right now. You're saying Kathi?
Now I'm going to talk.
Okay. You have fun.
Okay. Bye. So within 5 minutes, I had neighbors saying, oh, I have a bottle. I could spare 20. I could spare 30.
Wow.
Anyway, in 5 minutes, I had 35, which I thought was a good amount. And I wasn't even sure exactly where she lives. But I got in the car, started driving, because I knew if I told her I was going to do this, she would say, no. So I called her and said, I'm in my car. Where do you live? I have a baggie of 35 Tylenol. Was that a big deal? No. But now I thought she doesn't need to lose another moment of sleep over this one small thing that's scaring her.
Exactly.
And so what was that for me? 45 minutes. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
What else do I have to do right now?
It's so good, Kathi.
So I just think it's a bloom where you're planted. And I always say little is much when God is in it. So, okay.
Great. It's such a good reminder of just doing what we feel. And I've been talking about too, to follow the nudge. You know, you get
Yes.
a nudge, and then we
Yes.
sort of discount it. We're like, oh,
Right.
you know. But
Oh,
just
it's just as
follow the
likely
nudge.
that I would have not done that, because the nudge, like you say, the nudge happens. You're like, oh, well, she knows I'll have them if she needs them. She probably, hopefully won't even need them. But I thought, no, the nudge is to do something. So,
Yes.
all right,
So
you want
good.
to see my cards?
Yeah. So tell us about your nudge to do these Mother's Day things.
Yeah, so this already was happening before all of this went on, but short version is I'm not a mother, and I have my own story around that. And it's a long story, and it's an old story. But last year, when Mother's Day rolled around, sometimes it doesn't really bother me, but it did last year. And I don't know if it's social media or what, but I decided that this year, how, and you know this well, because you've lived this story in many of your own ways, but how can I try to not to push down my own feelings or the reality of my own story, but how can I enter into helping others celebrate? And, just the fact that someone's a mother doesn't mean that day's good for them either. Right. I know a lot of mothers who have incredibly sad stories. So how could I help mothers celebrate? And one idea I came up with was these Mother's Day cards, a set of art cards. And so I spent some time creating, let's see here. Oops. Can you see these cards? Oh, here. That I've packaged that come in a set of 6. I'll show you them individually with a little wooden stand, right? So you can look at one at a time, and Mom can put them on the windowsill in the kitchen or at her office desk, or in the bathroom or whatever, and change them out. So this one, I just actually showed you the original. This one says, it's not easy being a mother. If it were, fathers would do it. Don't y'all know that?
I love that.
I like that one, actually.
Yeah, I love it.
This one says, thank you for loving all of me, Mom, even the broken parts.
Oh, that's beautiful.
This one, a mother's like a flower. Each one is beautiful and unique. So grateful for you, Mom. And then a mother understands what a child does not say. And then this one isn't specific to moms. It says, you're all kinds of amazing. I really love that one. And so with this one, so those are for sale in my Etsy shop now. And I just thought it was a fun way to celebrate Mom, not just for Mother's Day, but any day, right? Moms need to always be thanked. But this one, I ordered 50 extra. And I am going to, for my followers on Instagram, it's a one-sided card. So I am going to offer, I haven't done this yet, but I'll do it.
There's
hi,
Victoria.
Victoria. How you doing, sweetie? I love the giraffe you colored.
Yeah, I just showed Kathi your giraffe.
So
Isn't that
pretty.
pretty?
It was very pretty.
I'm going to go to the park, okay? Bye, sweetie.
Bye. So I'm going to offer my followers to DM me the name of a healthcare worker, a store clerk, a janitor, anybody they know, probably a woman, who would be blessed by this. And I'm going to put a handwritten note on the back thanking them for what they're doing on behalf of the person who nominated them. I'm going to put it in an envelope. I'm going to put a stamp on it. And I hope I'm going to do up to 50. And I hope I get 50 nominations. And that's just, another small thing. And then I'm also...
What a creative idea, Kathi. And what I love about it is that it's not like a card that we have to go buy. And, nowadays you spend like $5-6 on a card.
Right.
And then you have to write it out and send it, where this is something they can actually keep and change them out. And I mean, what a creative idea. I love it.
Well, and it's just not everybody's gift. I'm looking for the ones I did. I don't remember where I put, oh, here. So I also took each one of the 6 and I'm selling them this way with an envelope. So if somebody does want to mail one at a time, that's not on my Etsy shop yet, but it will be by the end of the day. So they have that option as well. So yeah, I mean, I think it's not everybody loves to handwrite a note, right? And there's no shame in that, even though I think there's tremendous value in that, putting pen to paper. But I want to do that for them. And so I'm super excited about that part.
I love it. I just love
Thank
it.
you.
And my blog, for those of you that subscribe, at the end of the week, I do kind of a digest of all these shows, and I'll have all of Kathy's information there too. But you can go to her Instagram profile, DM her, do all that, and you'll be in touch directly. But one of the things I wanted you to talk about, Kathi, is you and I both have had several career iterations, shall we say. And I wanted you to share about how you really decided to just jump in and go ahead and become an artist, because I remember that season very well for you when, you know, it's funny because you're stepping into something brand new, and we always have this feeling like someone either needs to anoint me to do it, tell me it's your turn. That we have to feel this overwhelming sense of qualification, which is rarely accompanies a moment of promotion in my experience. But talk a little bit about how you stepped in that. We got about 9 minutes left, and I want to save a few minutes for Enneagram, but just give us a real quick rundown of what that looked like for you, and how you jumped in.
9 minutes. Okay. Well, you know, when one door closes, another opens. All right. But honestly, that kind of is that's part of it. There's a much bigger story, but I mean, you've known me for many years, and I've always been a creative person in different ways. I was a singer for many years, and that period came to a close a decade or so ago. And after my mother passed away, I felt well, living with someone with Alzheimer's is its own live show for 3 hours, right? But I, you know, I was kind of ready to be done with old people and people dying, to be honest. It really took a toll on me. But I began, because I have a lot of younger friends, some friends started stepping into that same season and were seeking me out. You know, my mom just got, you know, some very heartbreaking stories, and, you know, they knew I had been through it. And so I had the opportunity to walk along with some people, and I just got this random idea to start a blog called Good Daughters Club. Well, actually, let me back up. While I was going through it, I had 3 other friends who were going through similar circumstances. And I thought we need to be a club, Good Daughters Club. So I started the club, which really just meant I was the common denominator, and we were all each other's kind of lifelines through that period. Then I thought, after all of our mothers were gone, a blog would be cool. So in the process of setting that up and designing it, I wanted a pretty image. And I didn't know how to paint. I had started to do a little collage work and things here and there, but I knew what I wanted, and I didn't want to steal somebody else's art. So here's my first drawing. I created this.
Beautiful.
So that was my first painting. I don't know if it's clear or not, which is now prints and note cards that I sell on my Etsy shop, but it became part of the design for my blog. And then I don't know, I just fell in love with painting, and specifically abstract painting. And I don't know how I summoned up the courage, but that's, you know, we might talk about that along with the Enneagram, because I am an Enneagram 6 who's afraid of everything. But I just stepped into my courage, and that's when I went to Slate, a beautiful store here that I love, Slate Interiors. And I said, would you be interested in selling some of my art? And they said yes. So that's kind of where it all started. And
well, you know, that alone, I mean, going to Slate, and, you know, how much nerve did that take? Because now you're going to one of your favorite artistic furniture art shop, and you're actually acting as if you're qualified to be there, which is such a crazy principle, right?
Yeah. Act
it before we feel it. And you go in and you just put it out there. I mean, it's like you go fishing, right? But what's so hard is when it's your personal creative
Oh my.
stuff. I
Yes.
mean, that is
Still
nerve-wracking.
is. Yeah. Yeah. And, to your point, well, I'll sort of, maybe I might transition to the Enneagram just a little bit.
Transition.
Oh gosh, a dozen or more years ago, I learned of the Enneagram, and I have been using it along with many of my other tools for transformation. And honestly, it has been outside, I say, and it's true, outside of the Holy Spirit and Scripture itself. It has been the tool that has transformed me more than anything. And it doesn't mean anything if you don't use it, just like anything else, right? And I now, over a dozen years, I've used it, I've worked it. I realize now that I'm in the fear triad, and I'm in the thinking head triad, and I get stuck, and I do not trust my own inner authority, and on and on and on. But also what I love about the Enneagram is it gives you a path toward transformation. And so the way through is, I just heard an amazing podcast. If anybody knows of the Typology podcast, and Christian singer, songwriter, Jill Phillips was on it a few weeks ago, and she is also an Enneagram 6. And what she said has stuck with me. She said, we just learn to show up scared. Because, the refrigerator magnet, I forget what the quote is, if it's from a book, maybe Alice in Wonderland, I don't know. It says do one thing that scares you every day. I remember the first time I saw that. She loves typology. And I thought, do one thing that scares you every day? I am terrified before I even put my feet on the floor. Absolutely everything scares me. Everything scares me. And what Jill said was, we learn to show up scared. We just do it anyway. And so that is the work. And for some of us, that's not our deal. But that is our transformation. And you show up scared, and sometimes it works out well, and other times it doesn't. But even if it doesn't, you learn something.
Wow, that is so powerful. Well, I mean, I'm not that same type, and that fear thing isn't necessarily my first place that I go.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, and everybody I've worked with on innovating and stepping out, there is a sense of self-doubt for everyone.
Oh,
because we just don't feel qualified.
Absolutely.
I mean, and it's the biggest thing. So if we don't learn to overcome that and step through it and just say, okay, that feeling isn't going to be my determinant. I'm basically going to, like you said, I might feel the fear, but I'm going to do it anyway and just give it a try. And I mean, look at you, Kathi, you're sitting in the studio surrounded by the work of your hands. And it wasn't because you sat there and thought, wow, I'm a really good artist at this age. I need to just start doing this.
Absolutely not. I didn't know what I was doing, and I still don't. When people ask me to teach a class or whatever, I'm not going to do that. Because I wouldn't have a clue what to tell you. I just sit down and I do it. But yes, every step along the way, and the Enneagram, so we all have our different, we're not sure. You don't ever type anyone else, but I've known you long enough to, I think I got a beat on you. But for someone like my husband, who's an Enneagram 3, and while fear isn't their necessary subconscious motivation, but a fear of failure. You can't hear me? Can you hear me? Hold on.
There we go.
That's weird. Anyway, so fear, but fear of failure for someone who is success oriented, that is their thing. subconscious thing. And so what I love about the Enneagram is that it's really bad news at first. It's terrible news. And that's why a lot of people don't stick with it. But it tells you who you aren't and how we operate outside of our own awareness and our false selves, and gives us a path toward our truest self. And if we, and this, the self, the us, we were created, how we were created, marked by God in his image, right? And it takes a lot of work, but it's an amazing tool. And I'm grateful for that. And I really think that had I not had that and other tools, I mean, I have a whole, by our age, Lynette, it's true. We have a whole toolbox of spiritual disciplines that help us every day. I mean, I was up at 2 a.m. You can't hear me? Can you hear me now? I can't hear you. That's so weird.
Girls, we're gonna have to.
There.
That's where I'm not doing anything.
Okay. This
What are
happened
you
to me
doing?
on Saturday too with the brunch that I was doing. So anyway, I can hear you though now.
All right. Anyway, point being, the way to grow and whatever our thing is that we're looking to do and we're afraid, right? We should have tools that can help us move forward. And for me, it's everything from, well, I was up at 2 a.m. I couldn't sleep most of the night because my ruminating brain, I started getting fearful about everything that's going on. I worried about everybody. I worried about you. I worried about, the worst case scenario planning. So I got up and I did 3 rounds of 5 burpees, 10 air squats, and 15 sit-ups at 2:30 this morning.
Amazing. Kathi is
work.
a former or current CrossFitter.
I've given up my CrossFitting technically, but I still do high intensity workouts as I can with my age. But yeah, I mean, and then it didn't work. So I just put on a mindfulness guided meditation just to kind of get me back to present. I spend time in my garden every day. I connect with nature. I walk, I get out of my brain into my body. If we don't engage with these tools, we're sunk. And, it's all grounded in scripture. I pray all day long. I'm repeating scripture to myself, over myself, and praying over myself. And we're all the same, right? We all need to be doing something.
Well, and I love that because it is these extraordinary times. I think they naturally bring out our concerns, certainly, and all the unknowns. I mean, we're living in such an unknown time, and then it makes us feel insecure. Like if this can happen overnight, and people who have fortunes lose them overnight, and those of us who barely were making it before are really now wondering, how we're going to make it. The only advantage I would say at our age, and one of the reasons I really wanted to do these every day, is just to say from our age, looking back, you're going to make it.
Yes.
We're going to get through it.
Absolutely.
In fact, there's going to be some great gifts that come out of this season, and innovation is going to come forth.
Absolutely.
And we will not be the same after this. None of us will be the same.
No, and you know what? If we are, we've wasted a crisis.
Yeah.
Don't waste a good crisis and not not be transformed. I'm serious.
That is so good. Don't waste a good crisis and not be transformed.
Right.
So good.
There are 2 things. Let me so many years ago, as you know, when we moved here and we had a business that eventually, I guess you would say it failed, but it was really hard for a number of years. And I can remember driving down a particular street very close to where we live now. I have no idea what I was doing on that street that day, but we were paying off a ginormous debt. And it felt like it was going to go on forever. And I was probably crying and thinking, you know, when is this going to end? And I remember saying, Lord, please do not let me forget this. Don't let me forget this. And that's been, gosh, probably 28 years ago.
Wow.
And it came to my mind the other day. And I remembered, you know, who I am now because of that, right?
Yes.
And that's when I was like, I didn't make up that don't waste a good crisis, but that came to my mind as well. I was like, that is the failure. If we go through this and whether our business flourishes because of this, and some are, or our business fails or whatever, but if it, you know, we miss the chance to be transformed, we're going to get to do it again.
Yeah. It's so true. And I'm just so inspired, Kathi. You've helped me so many times, and we've been there for each other through everything.
You're such an encourager to me. Yeah.
Pretty much everything. And we found our own creative ways to do it. We use the app Voxer. We have long, ongoing conversations and never even talk live to each other, but we find ways to do it.
I hardly recognized your face when I saw you today.
Just,
you look good.
Do I look? Hopefully.
You look good. Oh, honey.
Okay.
Just a little bit of that. Look at the difference.
Just send me your treatment plans, because you always look fabulous. But I want to close, and we could talk all on and on. You know, it's interesting. One of my dear friends just joined the conversation, and I won't say her name because it's her private story, but her husband's been battling the virus, and we've been praying intensely, very much praying constantly, and he is coming through it. And it's a great story. But when I was thinking about her, like I think about you, Kathi, I kept knowing that God's going to turn this for good. And I've been praying with this friend for many, many years over a lot of things. And right away, I just thought, okay, only God can redeem everything. And even this, and even our struggles, and even our losses. And so I sit there watching you, and just so grateful for our friendship. I'm grateful for everyone that joined too, because you guys, what are the takeaways from today? Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Show up scared.
Feel the fear. Show up with the fear.
Scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this. Here's what I wanted to show, my tattoo.
Ooh, yeah.
All shall be well as the 6th. That's what I tell myself every day.
So
all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. And you know what? All is well in God's world today, right now.
Yes.
Nothing's wrong in his world.
It's so true. It's so true. Well, we could talk all day.
I lost you.
Send me about 4 new paintings, and go ahead and mail those off today.
I can't go to the post office. Don't you know we're on lockdown?
Drive them over.
Otherwise,
you can drive over. You live only 2 hours from here.
All right, I'll be right there. Always do whatever you tell me.
Great talking to you, Kathi. Great having everybody on. Love you guys. Let's stay in touch. I'm here for you. And we're all in this together. Go out and have a great day.
I love you, pal.
Love you too.